Hello, dear learners. I'm Christina Georgy and I welcome you to my session. Today's topic for discussion is stress and introduction. We'll deal with this topic in two parts. So, the focus areas of part 1 include the meaning of stress, the origins of stress, the definitions of stress, what are stressors, and finally, the types of stress. Shall we have a look at the meaning of stress? Yes. The term stress has been derived from the Latin word stringere, which means to draw tight. The term stress simply means a state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or demanding circumstances. In the contemporary scenario, stress has evolved into a frequently used term in common parlance. This is because people, irrespective of age and gender, experience stress in their day-to-day lives. Shall we have a look at the origins of stress? Yes. The origin of stress can predominantly be traced to physical sciences. The term stress was especially used to indicate afflictions and hardships experienced by individuals during the 17th century. Later, during the 18th century, stress came to be described mainly in terms of pressure, strain, or force. Moving on to the definitions of stress. Schaffer defined stress as an arousal of mind and body in response to demands made on them. Do you know what Troxilo said about stress? He defined stress as the body's reaction to a change that requires a physical, mental, or emotional adjustment or response. This explanation has expounded the response as being physical, mental, or emotional in nature. Later, Lazarus and Folkman defined stress as a particular relationship between the person and the environment that is appraised by the person as taxing or exceeding his or her resources and endangering his or her well-being. Do you know what the transactional model of stress is? If not, let's have a look at them. Lazarus and Folkman put forth the transactional model of stress and coping that emphasizes on how an event is interpreted or appraised by an individual, which in turn will determine the stress experienced by the individual. The model exemplifies that stress and coping with stress are interrelated processes. Despite the above-mentioned Western perspective, stress from an Eastern perspective denotes absence or lack of inner peace. Inner peace often gets disrupted as individuals may have various stressors in their lives at a given point of time. I mentioned the term stressor. Do you know what that is? If not, let's have a look at that as well. The term stressor can be described as a situation, event, person, or anything that leads to the stress response. According to Gehrig and Zimbardo, the term stressor can be defined as a stimulus event that places a demand on an organism for some kind of adaptive response. Stressors can also be described as varied external and internal stimuli that may lead to stress. Stressors can be categorized into physical, psychological, environmental, and social in nature. Moving on to the types of stress. Stress can be categorized into different types as follows: eustress, new stress, distress, hyperstress and hypostress. Let's have a detailed look at them one by one. Firstly, eustress. Eustress is fundamentally good stress, which is caused by a positive response to a desired stressor. Examples include a seminar presentation or a new assignment submission. When stress is neither helpful nor harmful, it could be described as eustress. It's more like neutral in nature. Moving on to distress. This must be familiar to most of my dear learners because distress occurs when the arousal experienced by the person is very high or very low. There are two categories of distress, namely acute stress and chronic stress. What do you mean by an acute stress? Acute stress can be termed as stress that is intense but does not last for a prolonged period of time. Examples include written examinations, interviews, etc. Whereas chronic stress may not be as intense but may exist for a prolonged period of time. This happens mostly in the case of learners who face some learning difficulties. Moving on to hyper and hypo stress. Hyperstress simply refers to excessive stress, and this happens mostly with type A personalities, whereas hypostress refers to insufficient stress predominantly visible in type B personalities. Are you wondering what these type A and B personalities are? We'll deal with these personality types and related aspects in details in my upcoming videos on managing stress. So that was an introduction to stress part 1 served to you in simple digestible bits. Hope you enjoyed the video. If so, do let me know in the comment section. For more useful videos of English language and literature and related disciplines, do subscribe to my channel. We meet again soon with more useful videos. Till then, take care. Thanks for watching.